All right, so we're going to talk more specifically about outliers. We've talked about them a fair bit, but just one more time to make sure everyone kind of has an idea. So outliers may be caused by an error. Somehow numerical values got transposed or a decimal was accidentally moved, or it can be some sort of unusual exception to the data as a whole. You never ignore outliers. If you can show that it is an error, note it and then remove it from the data or fix it. If it's not an error, try to find out why it stands off from the rest of the data. It may be best to do summary statistics both with and without the outlier. So, here are the weekly payrolls for two imaginary restaurants, Moose Burgers and McTofu. So, grab your calculators and let's do the 5-number summaries, the mean and the standard deviation for each of them.
Hey Liam, where's your backpack?
Sometimes you forget your backpack. That's okay.
Mr. Davis. Liam, here's someone that's not.
I have my debate bag, but I left my other bag in my car.
Oh,
Which is why that, no, it's not an accident. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
What's your room for a bag?
Oh, this is why you don't have your notes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. It's in my.
What is
There
this?
was?
Mr. Davis?
Yes?
I got my numbers, did you get me one?
Sorry?
Never
If you
mind.
forgot yours, yes, but
Oh, thanks, Mr. Davis.
We're just always like straight.
you don't have yours.
Don't say that, Mr. Davis. It's on the way. A lot of judgment. A lot of judgment. From someone that doesn't have a numbers. Huh. Very good. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Mr. Davis.
I asked my dad before school started, and he left me delivered. So I don't know, probably not. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
think
my
he
mom.
turned his red receipts off just for me, because when.
So are you putting these in?
Oh, yes. It's just, yeah.
She's got it, Mr. Davis. Yeah, what are the 5 numbers?
Minimum Q1, minimum Q3, maximum. Minimum Q1, medium, Q2, max.
Well.
Yeah, it's easier to look
No.
up that way
No
than
way.
it is to compare.
Max then the quartiles and the median.
All of the quartiles?
Yeah, Q1, Q2. It's talking about the numbers. I literally heard him say it first.
Mr. Davis.
What?
Did you ever eat from a restaurant called
McTofu?
McDuffie?
I am, probably to no one's surprise, not a particularly fussy eater.
Interesting.
Not much expensive.
Is that not to your surprise, Jess?
No. Mr. Davis, should we use the sample standard deviation or the population standard deviation?
So this is all the data that we have, so it's the population standard deviation.
Okay. The same thing with mean population?
Yeah. There is no set. Since these were given in whole numbers, I would probably give them to one decimal place. So what is that for that one?
14.1.
Yeah.
Let's see. 69.9. Whoa.
So if you're done, please check mine, make sure I didn't write down any wrong numbers.
That's what I got.
Okay, thank you. It's really easy when you're doing these to accidentally type in a wrong number, and then not necessarily everything is off, but some of your numbers are suddenly way, way off. All right, so you guys onto the box plots?
Yes.
And you can make your calculator do this for you. Now, on that second one, it depends on how you have yours set up on the TI. And unfortunately, hang on a second, my axes are running right through the middle of it, so it's like impossible to see. There we go. Ah, so much better. So if you have it set to show outliers, it looks more like this. And you can put whatever mark you want to out there. The TI does it with a little square, although I think you can change it. On the NumWorks, does it do a plus sign, or what does it do? A dot? Now, what's badly missing from mine right now?
Number line.
The number line I don't care about so much. Pardon?
Labels.
Yeah, a label as to what's what. I want you to notice something before we go on to writing about the distributions. Notice here the median and the mean. What do you notice about those?
Very similar.
They're very similar to one another. That is one of the hallmarks of something that is symmetric. All right, when it's symmetric, then the mean and the median are very close together. Now, if you ignore the outlier, does this look pretty symmetric?
Yes.
Yeah, and it is very symmetric except for the outlier, right? And notice the median and the mean are nowhere close to one another because that outlier, just like being, if it was skewed to the right, an outlier to the right tends to pull the mean in that direction. But it doesn't have much influence on the median. In fact, if you will, just real quickly, go back to your lists and drop the 360 for just a second, and then look at it again. So I'm going to go back into my list, and I'm going to delete the 360. And then go back to my graph. And if I trace this, the minimum is still 100. Q1 is still 110. The median is now 118.5 instead of 120. Didn't change it very much, did it? Q3 is 130, so that dropped a little bit. The maximum is now 146, which is where the end of that tail was anyway. Right? But what that outlier wrecks is the mean, because it pulls it way up. So, write a few sentences comparing the distributions. Okay. So, both distributions have a similar range, right? This one is 50, this one is 46. And these were weekly payrolls.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, so we'll call these, we'll call it salaries. It's probably hourly. And I would add, to give it more context, $50 for Moose Burgers. And $46 for McTofu. But that's only if I'm doing what?
Disregarding the outlier.
Right, if I disregard the outlier. If the outlier of $360 for McTofu is ignored. So I've compared the spread a little bit, okay? And again, Moose Burgers is, well, it looks like it's, now if we really want to compare the distribution, or we want to look at the shape, is a box plot the best thing to do to look at the shape? What would be better? A histogram would be better. So let's real quick change these both to histograms. Which was one of the nice things that you can switch real quickly from one to the other. So, and I'm not crazy about looking these on the TI. It puts one right smack on top of the other one, like overlays it. On the NumWorks, does it show it as two separate ones?
Yes.
Which I prefer. I think it makes it easier to see. Can I?
Thank you. Of course.
So,
You know,
yeah, it makes it easy to give away when it's not yours, doesn't it? So, in talking about the shape, for Moose Burgers, is it unimodal?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Is it symmetric?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait.
Pretty symmetric.
Okay. And if you're like, it's not really, just then put in it's and fairly symmetric or somewhat symmetrical. While the distribution for McTofu It depends on the scale that you use for this. It really does, which is why most of the time on the AP exam, when they ask you about these things, they will show you the picture, right? Because depending on what scale you use for the bin width, it can change. But on there, the McTofu looks like it's kind of right skewed, yes?
Yes.
Is unimodal and right skewed with a large gap. From 146 to 360, with 360 being a clear outlier. So who has the highest average salary? McTofu. Why is it misleading?
It doesn't factor in the outlier.
Yeah, the outlier pulls the mean way up. So if you're trying to decide, well, which one would you rather work at?
Moose burgers.
Yeah,
Moose burger.
the top 50% of Moose Burgers makes more than the top 25% of McTofu. So if you're just better than average, you'd be in the top 25% over here. So I would say probably Moose Burgers. The top 50% of Moose Burgers employees are making more than the top 25% of McTofu employees. Except for the outlier. Now, what they don't tell you here is this a salary, or is this salary? Sally is working 3 times as much as anybody else. We don't know. Okay? All right. So, page 3. Time plots. Display data over time. We don't do much with time plots. I mean, that's the short answer. Okay? So, moving on. So, when our data is not very symmetric, that can limit the types of analysis we do on something. And so a lot of times what we'll try to do is apply some function to the original data to make it look more, symmetric. Now this one, after we have done this is the original, just real quick. We took the logarithm of their assets instead of their assets. And now we get something where it's like, oh, there's some bimodalness here that we wouldn't have seen before that's hidden inside here someplace. Okay? So by doing that, you get something that looks more like something that you can do better analysis on. We'll get back to that idea later in this class. Okay? All right. Y'all have a great day.